we have heard earlier Mr. Farage, Mr. Betten, Mr. O'Flynn and Mr. Hooken, and I think they are experts in London bashing as much as Mr. Verhofstadt is. Mr. President Juncker, last week you accused Britain's ex-Prime Minister to be one of the biggest destroyers in recent history. While I agree that Brexit is indeed a catastrophe for both Britain and the European Union, I ask myself, how can you put Mr. Cameron in the same gallery as other real destroyers of history in Europe? I think I know the reason. I think you want to deflect from your own role in Brexit. Where the Lisbon Treaty called for competition, you advocated the opposite, harmonization. Where the treaty called for subsidiarity, your Commission constantly pushed for more power to Brussels. And while Britain joined a football club, you decided to play hockey. It was your policies which forced David Cameron to call for a referendum in the first place. And it was your refusal, to grant him more autonomy on immigration matters, which contributed
please allow the speaker
to the narrow outcome.
Please, Mr. Henkel.
Yeah,
Look, can I just
hurts
no,
in
please,
this House, I realize.
let me just say, I've heard rubbish from this side of the House. I don't want to hear it from that side of the House. Please let the Speaker have the floor without interruption.
Mr. Cameron is not one of the biggest destroyers in recent history, but your insult of David Cameron must be one of the biggest smokescreens ever produced by a politician in recent history. Avoid that you become the president who lost Britain. Give Mrs. May an extension without any conditions, so we maintain a chance so they stay in the European Union.
Commission President, Mr. Juncker, you don't wish to respond?
Madam President, eigentlich habe ich keine Lust mehr noch weiter.
Well, I really don't want to say any more on the subject of Brexit, but Mr. Henkel said something which I have to contradict. Because what he said is simply not true. It's not Juncker or the Commission that forced the UK to hold a referendum. It was Mr. Cameron. Mr. Cameron did it. Although Tusk and myself had agreed on an exit arrangement, we defended it. What we've been through was not mentioned with one single word during the referendum campaign. There were great concessions in that agreement on free movement of workers. Read it. Read the agreement and listen. Listen what we've heard from these people. So I think what you have said is unacceptable. How can you say it's the Commission's fault? There were hundreds of texts that were removed from the agenda. 100 initiatives per year less from the Commission now. So I have taken the trouble to give an answer to what you said.